big part of this channel is all about extreme collectibles, especially statues. Now recently I did a fun video called You May Be a Statue Addict If, and I listed about 25 different things that may be indicators you are a statue addict. Today we look at your comments. Welcome to the Extreme Channel. My name is Mr. X. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. As I said in the intro, this is an unplanned revisit to a video I recently filmed. And the reason I'm doing this is there was so much support for that video. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna look at all the comments that you guys wrote on why you might be a statue addict. And as a disclaimer, I haven't read most of these. So you're gonna see my live reactions and we'll all get to laugh along together. But before we do, let's talk about the giveaways. If you think of any more that aren't on this list, comment below, because also commenting enters you into the monthly Extras drawing. And check out this statue giveaway. On our road to 20,000 subs, we are giving out this Mortal Kombat statue at 12,500 subs. All you have to do is make sure you've liked this video, you've subscribed to the channel, and you've hit that bell notification, and stay tuned for that giveaway. So the video's only been live for about 18 hours, but there's already a couple hundred comments. So if you commented on it after I filmed this, then I do apologize, I'm gonna miss it, but let's go ahead and look at the hundreds of comments on why you might be a statue addict. All right, now as a reminder, this is completely raw. I haven't read probably about 90% of these, but let's go ahead and dive in. Jason says, you might be a statue addict if your wife won't let you buy any female characters, yet you have Cammy Player 2, mint inside box, indefinitely listed on eBay. You might be a statue addict if you know that artist proof is really just a bunch of leftover pieces from the parts bin. True story. Well, if you're going to be an addict, at least be an extreme addict. You might be a statue addict if you know who Mr. X is. That is true. You might be a statue addict when you try to convince yourself that this is the last one. Very true. This. If you have done this before, blow blow, we did that one. Addiction to requesting credit from banks. That is clearly the sign of a statue addict. If you take 2 pre-orders and see me in the morning. You know you're a statue addict when you watch some nerd do a video on statue addiction. I don't know what nerd he's referring to, but that is very true. Ray, I'm a statue addict. It's like being on crack cocaine without getting high to work. That is the only that is one of the reasons my wife divorced me. I don't even have enough room. The UPS driver made a comment that this is considered getting another route. All right, let's see. You may be a statue addict if browsing for statues 10 minutes after unboxing a new one. Very true. You might be a statue addict if you tell everybody it's an investment. Joe, you might be a statue addict if you create a UPS My Choice account to change delivery date, change delivery location, or have the package held for pickup. We've all done that. E. Morris, you might be a statue addict if you have unopened, newly delivered statue, but you are on apps checking out another statue. Reconstructed Beauty, not a fun video. Makes you look at yourself in the face. He's a statue addict, yes to everything, so there's a big support group just asking for a friend. We don't need it. You might be a statue addict if you don't want your sexy model girlfriend to move in because you're worried she will take up too much space and you won't be able to get all your pre-orders. Oh, that's the best one so far. Let's see. You might be a statue addict if you have the same statue in multiple colors. Guilty for me. You might be a statue addict if the first thing you type into Craigslist is Sideshow, but you type it into Sideshow by mistake and get pissed because of all you get is circus stuff. You might be a statue addict if you continue to look for new space, dream of a new space, or have to rent storage room because your garage is full. You might be a statue addict if you become an expert on lighting and angles in order to make your statues look their best. Very true. You might be a statue addict if you hide the credit card bill from your wife, or if you try to make it home before your wife to meet the UPS guy first and hide your shit, which I have done both, as have I. Actually, she takes care of the money. You might be a statue addict if the smell of china coming out of a freshly opened box gets you excited. You might be a statue addict if you put a lien against your house. You are a statue addict if your definition of a nightlight is a luminescent glow from an exclusive statue LED light-up feature strategically placed in every room. This one's gonna be good. Bring the Winter has the best comments. I haven't read this yet. You might be a statue addict and a potential douchebag if you put only air conditioning unit in the same room as your statues while you and your family and pet dog complain of how hot it is, so you give them a handheld fan to share. That one was good, as always. These won't be on my favorite comment videos because we're reading them here, but I've been doing a news segment where we read my favorite comments. This would be like all of these. You might be a statue addict if a YouTube chat show becomes part of your weekly TV schedule. True that. You might be a statue addict if you open closets and all you see are boxes. You might be a statue addict if you buy statue characters you know nothing about. You might be a statue addict if you do blind POs. I do that. You might be a statue addict if you're figuring out what year you can turn 5-year-old and 3-year-old into their playroom into a mini theater with statues all over and blowing out the wall and closet to put in your statues. Sounds like that's very specific from Kevin there. Some of these are just fantastic. You might be a statue addict from Scott. As a reminder, Scott did all the new artwork for the Extreme t-shirts. You might be a statue addict if you really worried that someone would let your spouse know the actual value of your collection. True that. My wife and I actually had a money talk the other day, and I told her, I said, don't worry, love. I have about 50 grand in statues that are paid off. They just haven't shipped yet. That wasn't a good argument. Don't use that. Edwin, my man, you're a statue addict if you recommend other dudes reviewing a statue. Oh yeah, if your YouTube channel recommends other dudes reviewing a statue. I do that. Austin, let's see. I'm just gonna read the comment. Besides show and XM, do you have some more? Please give it to me. Give me more of that good stuff, please. Scratches hyperactively. You might be a statue addict if you spend the whole day online shopping staring at a statue that you can't afford. True that. You might be a statue addict if, because of the size of the furniture, you have to choose between getting a larger TV or more statues and the statues you won. You are a statue addict because Mr. X and Gem Mint turned you into one. Don't blame us, man. Don't point your spouses in our direction either. Carlos Franco. You might be a new statue addict if after checking how much your last year purchases cost, you think, what? That was cheap. You might be a statue addict if you can't wait for your kids to move into their house so you can use their rooms for display spaces. Moses commented that, and then Comic Book Challenge just said, didn't even think about that. That's a good idea. My oldest is 12 now, so 4 or 6 more years. I don't kick him out when he's 16. 18, he's leaving. Oh, so Galactus. Mr. X, if it was your last day on Earth, what would you prefer? Eat your favorite steak and drink your favorite beer, or hug and say goodbye to your favorite statue? I like beer and steak better than statues. If I had to choose, that actually wouldn't be a contest. Sorry to disappoint you guys. Kevin, you might be a statue addict if you use Sideshow's payment plan and then use PayPal's credit plan minimum purchase of $100 to finance over the next 6 months. Oh, that's good. Alex, you might be a statue addict if you have to order something between POs because you need the rush of opening something awesome and new. We can all relate to that. Rick says, I know I'm a statue addict because Mr. X is what I'm naming my future kid. Hell yeah. So SF5FTW, if you're new to the channel, he's the self-appointed enforcer and #1 extreme fan. says, you might be a statue addict if you spend an extreme portion of your life policing the comments section of a statue-based YouTube channel. Oh. Anthony says, Mr. X, I share your pain and everything. I hope I can ease and share your burden. Kindly ship your collectibles to my home. I'll keep them free of charge. Robert makes a good point. It might be a lot cheaper addiction for crack or heroin for a lot of us. Trevor, you might be a statue addict if you unfollow all your friends on social media because you are in multiple statue groups. I've recently done the opposite, actually, so maybe I'm on the road to recovery. I've gotten rid of most of the statue groups and I've turned my Facebook account into a personal Facebook account. Then I started the Extreme Channel Facebook page. Barney says, you might be a statue addict if when you hear, what statue did you get today, Dad, more than once a week. You might be a statue addict when your wife knows, so there's this guy is code for I want to buy a statue because it's a deal I can't miss out on. You might be a statue addict, but he has a different costume is to justify the latest. Magneto, Wolverine, Batman. You might be a statue addict if you have statues on PO so long you've almost forgotten about them, says Tuttle. If you hear the words, that's what she said, and you think of Mr. X instead of a girl, you're a girl, then perhaps you have a problem. True that. You might be a statue addict if you can't stop buying RGB lights. Very true. Chris, blaming me again. I did not get you addicted. Joe's wife confirmed he's an addict. Wants him to sign up for meetings. You might be a statue addict if you have more statues in boxes than on display. That's a really good one, actually, Napsky. Not for me. So when I made up the list, I only spent about 10 minutes on it. And I came up with 20 to 25 in 10 minutes. So that's why I didn't even think about doing this and going back. So Superman Kelly, you might be a statue addict if you're addicted to buying statues. Deep thought there. You might be a statue addict if your idea of a buying freeze is only buying 1/10 pieces. That's a good one from Tim. Yeah, that's a really good one. All right. I don't want to do a pause in the video here because I'm filming it on 2 cameras. Again, if I miss yours, I do apologize. Baki says, you might be an addict if you can't wait to come home from work to that beautiful brown box at your front door instead of your wife. That is horribly true. Yeah, do you kiss your wife first or do you go straight for the box? You're a statue addict if you buy a bigger home just to properly display your collection. The irony is that I cannot buy more statues because now I have to pay off the house. You might be a statue addict if you go to bed thinking about statues and wake up thinking about statues, says Javi. Tim, you might be a statue addict if you buy a piece you aren't really a fan of, but you just love the statue. Very true. Rome says, I know this is going to be good. The missing few bill payments speaks out to me, while everything else, if a piece is out and I really got to have it, screw them other bills. I mean, real talk. Got to have it. You might be a statue addict if you stare at how real the ground looks in a statue and then the ground in nature. That is very, very true. You might be a statue addict if you tell your friends, I paid $600 for, and your friend is like, holy crap, you paid $600 for this glorified toy? $600, knowing that $600 was only the shipping. This is a good one from King Darkcross. You might be a statue addict if Tetris is not just a game, but real world training for organizing brown shippers. You might be a statue addict if you have a tape measure and don't do construction. I'm going to rephrase that because everyone has a tape measure, but I have 3 in my basement alone, just because I always put them somewhere else. Again, Chris Murphy, I didn't make you statue addict. Am I a statue addict if I have wet dreams about them? Am I a statue addict if I talk to them when I come into the room if they were my children? Am I a statue addict? Yeah, we're not going to say the next comment. It's funny though. Okay, I'm gonna read Stinky's comment. Let us, all statue addicts, sit together and vent on the seriousness of the issue. If it is indeed a problem and affects us financially and emotionally, we tell ourselves we're done. We don't need any more. Our leg begin to shake, our fingers start to tap on the table. We get anxiety and begin to shop online for more pieces. My name is Stinky and I have a statue collecting problem. You might be a statue addict if you lied to your other half about the actual costs. Well, I think we're all guilty on that. Hopefully they're not watching this. Ro, my boy Ro, I'm a statue addict if I'm doing some gardening while listening to Mr. X. Jason says you might be a statue addict if you comment on an Extreme Channel daily to win a statue you know nothing about. Last Titan Sanding says, I'm too poor. I'm too poor to ever be a statue collector, so it never crossed my mind how much of a nightmare it would be for someone like Mr. X moving. True that. Moving is our biggest fear. Fabrizio says, if I win the Baraka statue, I'm donating it back to you because I'm a statue addict and I don't have a place for it. Recovery, my man. First step to recovery. Jason, you might be a statue addict if you have a storage unit to hold the shippers. Yeah, we never think of the asinine nature of that is you have a storage unit for empty boxes. The Collector says you might be a statue addict if you get a second job to pay for your statues. Absolutely correct. Keith says you might be a statue addict if you watch Mr. X to decide what your next statue will be. Here's one in Spanish. I want some help with these statues. I need to quit the addiction. No sabe, mi madre es profesora de español. You might be a statue addict if you know your lady doesn't want to hear about statues, but you tell her every day. You might be a statue addict if you pulled a sickie 4 times from work to wait for statue deliveries. You might be a statue addict if you see your $2,000 home repair bill as a waste of money because you could have totally bought 2 statues with that money, says Davis. Gary found a cure to statue addiction. He ran out of money. Bad Protocol says you might be a statue addict if you sell bodily fluids for statue money. Can you do that anymore? Can you donate blood and semen? If not, I've been giving that stuff away for free. Both. Here we go. Cool and Collected says you may be a statue addict if you make a video with an I'm a statue addict in the title. Or if you try to hide a 26-inch by 26-inch delivery or a huge Prime 1 studio from your spouse and really think he or she won't notice. If you start getting statues you don't even remember ordering. Bruce says it is an addiction, he doesn't even pretend anymore. Che says you might be a statue addict if you have more than 5 different types of brushes, 3 types of cloths, used exclusively for dusting and cleaning your statues. Very true. Lewis says you might be a statue addict if you have an emotional hole in your life that instead of addressing, you instead fill it full of items that were once symbols of your childhood that you will never get back. Ouch. It hurts because it's true. You might be a statue addict, says Fiva, if you wake up every day to check the status of your shipment. So I actually have an app, guys. It's an app called Shop something. Just Google Shop, and it reads your emails and it automatically plugs in tracking numbers and gives automatic updates. That's how I keep track of everything. Jumpy says, you might be a statue addict if you store your storage boxes at a statue facility. Yes. You might be a statue addict if you start a YouTube channel just to justify the purchases to your wife. That's what our Hawk says. That's a good one. I know some people that have done that. Let's see. Can you be a statue addict and have no statues? I think you can. Yeah, Dan's. Dan's is one of the ones I read. This is really good. If you own a set of makeup brushes that are nicer than your wife's so that you can get every speck of dust and crease out, or you can get every speck of dust out of every crease and fold. That is very true. George says you might be a statue addict if you have more brown delivery boxes than furniture. Alex, you might be a statue addict if the first thing you check in the morning is if that piece is still available. And we'll end up with Jeebus, who says, you might be a statue addict if you lie to your significant other about the actual price. So that was a lot of fun, guys. This is actually one of the funnest videos I've done. And I have a big announcement. So for those of you that stay tuned in towards the end, I know you're not going to like this, but I really do admit I have a statue addiction. And when I filmed this video, it was on June 15th. It's a few days later now. It's about the 20th. I think it's actually Father's Day today. And I'm spending it with you. I want to know how bad my addiction is. So I want to see how long I can go without purchasing a new statue. And I have two exceptions. I will purchase 2 statues if they come up. I'm going to try and go until August. At first I was going to try for the rest of June. Then I was like, that's 2 weeks, that's nothing. Let's try it for a full month, June 15th through July 15th. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try till August 1st. No matter what, other than these 2 exceptions, I'm going to go for it. One exception is a piece I've been looking for on eBay almost every day. I'm not going to say what it is. Actually, we're going to make 3 exceptions. Second exception is my Grail. You know what that is, if I get that for the right price. And the third exception is if any of the new XM Samurai pieces they've been teasing go up for pre-order. So Joker, Penguin, the new Batman, those I will make the exception on. Nothing else under any circumstances. I know that's boring, but don't worry, it's not going to affect arrivals or pieces on the table. It will affect the extreme acquisition video on August 1st. So I'll have to figure out something different from that. But otherwise, it won't affect anything else. But I'm going to see if I can go 45 days. So I want to challenge you. See how long you can go. So if you decide, you know what, that's not a bad idea, I'm going to set a goal. Put it in the comments below. See how long it is, whether it's 45 days or could you go for the rest of 2020. Let's do a little bit of therapy here, honestly. It'll save us some money. Some of us already have some pieces that are beautiful that we love. I think that's a cool challenge. So put that in the comments below if you think that you're going to go try a fast, so to say, whether it'll be a week, a month, 6 months, could be even longer.
That's what she said.
But thanks so much, guys. An awesome, fun thing to film. If I don't respond to any of your comments on that, I apologize. It's not that I'm avoiding them, but I just went through and read them all. But for now, please check out some of these other playlists that we've done, as well as clicking on that Mr. X logo, because we are going to have a ton of extreme arrivals, despite the fact I'm taking a 45-day break. Thanks so much. Take care. Talk to you tomorrow.